and welcome to the Middle East Forum Speaker Webinar Series and Podcast. I'm Stacey Roman, and I will be moderating this discussion today. We're pleased to have Dr. Edy Cohen, a researcher at the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies, join us to discuss Holocaust denial in the Arab world. Dr. Cohen will speak for 15 minutes, then open it up for questions. Should you wish to ask a question, please use the Q&A box located at the bottom of your screen to type your question. And with that, I will turn the discussion over to Dr. Edy Cohen.
Thank you very much for hosting me. This is a research that have been conducted more than 2 years, so it's very difficult to say it in only 50 minutes. I will share my presentation. So I've spoken with many people, Arabs in the Arab world, and few of them know what really happened during the Holocaust, during the World War II. The Holocaust denial in the Arab world, sadly, I'm saying it's very fluent in the Arab world. Holocaust denial, it's not only when you doubt about the Holocaust, it happens, it occurs, or didn't happen. It's not only when you say 100,000 Jewish were murdered during the Holocaust. It's not only when you speak about facts, it's also when you doubt, when you blame the Jews that they caused the Holocaust. There are many conspiracy theories about the Holocaust today. I will say maybe one or two about these conspiracy theories. The first and the most famous, that the Jewish collaborated with the Nazis. It seems insane to think like that, but this is one of the infamous conspiracy that the Jewish Ben Gurion collaborated with the Nazis in order to have them murdered, in order to have pity, to ask the world for a country. There are many rumors that the European countries asked from Hitler, please kill the Jews, please kick the Jews out of Europe. The Jews brought us disease, the Jews brought us prostitution, all kind of theories only to demonize the Jewish people in the Israel. There are also one conspiracy from Islamist extremists that they say the Holocaust came from Allah, from God, because the Jews didn't want to accept Islam, didn't accept to convert to Islam when the Prophet Muhammad asked them like 1,400 years ago. The Palestinians, the Palestinian PLO used the Holocaust in order to demonize the Jews, in order also to have political gains. One of the reasons that the Jews cannot be victim, this is their system, this is their doctrine from the 50s. In the Arab world, we cannot learn in the school about the Holocaust. This is until now. In recent year, things begin to change. In recent years also, they are speaking about the Nakba. They are making like comparison between the Nakba and the Holocaust, which is untrue. During the Nakba, about 400 refugees, Palestinians, left Israel. In the Holocaust, 6 million Jews were murdered. So we can never make it equal. This is also a kind of Holocaust denial. This is also new. The Palestinian blames that the Israelis are the new Nazis, and then the Palestinians are the victims, the Palestinian so-called Holocaust. We can see now some of the pictures that shows the Palestinian as the victim. I will show you some picture that I took from Palestinian newspaper, Palestinian site. You can see these are pictures that remind us of the Holocaust. You know, this never again. You can see Gaza, never again. Also, they copy Gaza ghetto, Warsaw ghetto, all this in order to demonize Israel. Untrue, true, Hollywood realidad. This is also Gaza, so-called Gaza ghetto, and you see Israelis as Gestapo, as the Israelis are the new Nazis. And this is, you know, the yellow badge, Jews, they wrote Palestinians. One of the reasons that Arab people from the Arab world don't know really what happened, as I said, you cannot learn it neither in school, neither in university. It's a taboo. You cannot learn about the real facts. In contrast, you have many, hundreds of books that deny the Holocaust. You can see these books, I saw personally these books. This is more than 200 pages that deny the Holocaust. This is the book written by Robert Faurisson, one of the French denier of the Holocaust, most famous French denier of the Holocaust. Robert Faurisson, we will see it later in a moment. This is also a book. You can never find one academic book that you can learn what happened really in the Holocaust in the Arab world. So Mr. Mahmoud Abbas, the chief of the PLO, himself wrote a book. It names The Other Face, the secret relationship between Nazism and Zionism. This is the political chief of PLO himself wrote a doctoral dissertation in Moscow 40 years ago, and he only used an article from newspapers, from Arab think tank, and not from, for example, Germany archives. This book is very widely distributed and sold in the Arab world, unfortunately. The central claim of this book that the Holocaust is a conspiracy, what I said previously, that Adolf Hitler killed the Jews because the Jews asked him to be killed. So he blamed us on the Holocaust. This is the central claim. He also claims that the chief of the Zionist movement were accomplices to the destruction of the Jewish people. All of this, because we have only one goal, to get a country. So he justified the creation of Israel in this book. There are a lot of allegations that the Holocaust was a Nazi, Zionist plan. Anyone who tried to reveal this conspiracy, he was killed, like Adolf Eichmann and Israel Kastner. These are half-truths. Yes, Adolf Eichmann was hanged in Israel because he was a Nazi criminal, not because he revealed this conspiracy. And also Israel Kastner was killed because other motives. But Mahmoud Abbas take half truth in the claims that because they explain the conspiracy. We have many allegations about the Holocaust. All what you read this is Holocaust denial also. He also claimed that the Zionist movement were responsible for the killing of more than 300 Jewish boys, Jewish children. Also, he said that in his book, anyway, this is his book. This is his book, 252 page. And all of this book is full of anti-Semitism and Holocaust denial. He also demonized the Zionism, that the Nazi ideology is the same as the Zionist ideology. Also, he claims a false statement. He quote a number from a book that the Jewish victim doesn't exceed 896,000 Jewish, but it's not true. This is Robert Faurisson, that Abbas quoted him, and he is well known. He was in Tehran participating in Holocaust denial conference in Tehran. So we know well who is Robert Faurisson. So where all these claims, the sources of Abbas, the first who denied the Holocaust are the Nazis. In order to not to be judged in Nuremberg, in order not to be killed, the Nazis, like Adolf Eichmann, who stayed alive after the World War II, when he was in Argentina, he said that the Holocaust, it's a Jewish plot, and he denied that there were 6 million victims. There was no gas chambers. So Mahmoud Abbas, in his book, he took all the Adolf Eichmann claims. This is the book where Mahmoud Abbas quoted the number. I took I went to the library and searched myself. This is what Raoul Hilberg said. The Jewish number come from 16 million people to 11 million people. Mahmoud Abbas wrote that there were only about 900,000 Jewish victims, which is wrong. So why he did it? Why Abbas wrote his doctoral dissertation? In order to hide the collaboration by Haj Amin al-Husseini, the Palestinian Mufti of Jerusalem. He stayed and lived in Germany more than 4 years. So the Palestinians themselves collaborated with Adolf Hitler. Other motives behind Abbas' doctoral dissertation: to demonize Israel, to demonize the United States during the Cold War. And of course, it's a tool of propaganda against Israel in the United States. This is my book. I translated into Hebrew multiple chapters from Mahmoud Abbas, and I translated into Hebrew. It doesn't exist in English, unfortunately, but in Hebrew you can find the claims of Mahmoud Abbas. So now, optimistically, we have some progress in this front. many Arab countries after the Accord of Abraham's were open and open-minded also. I heard that in Morocco, in UAE, in Bahrain, in the few coming years, they will teach the Holocaust in the school, in their school, and also in the university. Before the Corona, the COVID-19, about 2 years ago, a Muslim World Society, Sheikh Mahmoud al-Isa Saudi, visited Auschwitz with a delegation of Muslims, and they also prayed in Auschwitz. This is Muhammad al-Isa with other Muslim delegation. This is the beginning of, we cannot, I can't imagine these pictures 10 years ago. Now I am more optimistic about the Holocaust issue. This is not political, it's a human issue. This is also pictures. And now every year there are ceremonies in the UAE, in Bahrain, after Abraham Accord. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that. The first
Too much information in one presentation.
Oh, yes, that was very well researched there.
I have to say something. I didn't speak about the admiration of Adolf Hitler in the Arab world, but it's another subject.
All right. Well, the first question we have is from David Levine asking, you just mentioned this, but can you further comment? The Arab leaders openly collaborated with the Nazis. The Grand Mufti was a guest of Hitler in Berlin during the war. By acknowledging the Holocaust, wouldn't the Arabs be forced to admit this collaboration? You touched on that. Can you elaborate?
Yes, but they hide it. Arab people, unfortunately, read only Arabics. So the Arab people in Syria, in Lebanon, in many countries, they don't read English and French. And so most of them don't know this, unfortunately. Yes, they don't know it.
And how can we teach them? Is there movements to yeah, you were just talking about that. Can you expand on that as well?
Well, first of all, they must accept to bring this issue in their school. For example, the UAE, the Bahrain, some countries say that no, this is a political issue. First, we will make peace with Israel. Then, when we will taught our children about the Holocaust. I think it's two different things, but it will not happen. Sadly, 70 years ago, 70 years they didn't learn about the Holocaust.
Thank you. Paul Erickson asks, how do you deal with the misappropriation of genocide and Holocaust language as we are seeing in various contexts?
Well, this is a linguistic problem. The Holocaust, it's only for the Jews, because the Jews, they were not military, they were only civilians. That's why we have, during World War II, there were more than 12 million Russians that were murdered, but they were in the army. Why? The Holocaust, it's only special for the Jewish. They were not in the army. They were only civilian, children, women, and children. This is the distinct between the Holocaust and other genocide.
Thank you. Ken Miller asks, considering the extent of the Mizrahi Jewish persecutions and murders that took place in the Arab countries, such as Iraq during World War II, isn't this a subject that should be required in Israel and pushed for Arabs to teach?
Yes, of course, Farhud, 1941. The Iraqi government said that who is responsible for the Farhud riots? This Mufti, Abil Husseini, that the Germany supported them. Yes, the Farhud victim received now in Israel, I don't know exactly how much, but they received some of the German money. So yes, they are the Germans recognized the Farhud as a part of the Holocaust. Yes, not only in Iraq, there were also the Nazis in Tunisia, also in Tunisia.
Thank you. Lucille
We
Rosen.
speak less because, you know, in Europe there were 6 million, in the hundreds in the Arab countries, so it's not the same thing.
Absolutely. Lucille Rosen Kaplan says, thank you, Dr. Cohen. Despite recent creation of a new State Department division dedicated to combating anti-Semitism, the U.S. continues to have blinders regarding this key role the Holocaust denial has played in the emergence of 21st century Islamist terrorism. As the U.S. fails in this regard, are there other Western and Asian countries, perhaps, in which you place hope for greater appreciation of the massive impact the Holocaust denial continues to have on public policy and international relations in the Muslim world?
Well, we cannot force them to learn their children about the Holocaust. It's something that you cannot force them. No, I agree with her, but I don't have an answer, sorry. I hope.
Of course. Lisa Bernard asks, have any Israelis challenged Abbas's PhD?
Yes, myself.
And what has been the outcome of that so far?
Sorry?
Oh, what has been the result, the outcome of that?
Well, this book, in Arabic was in his, how we say it, in his presidency, in his site. When I revealed what written in the book, he removed it. He removed it, yes.
Thank you. Stephen Gurazov asked, do you believe that the gullibility of those indoctrinated within an Islamist society from birth and their lack of education and critical thought makes them more susceptible to the other big lie, the Palestinian narrative, really just a new alternative reality, repeating a tale of Islamic victimhood everywhere?
Well, unfortunately, yes. This propaganda, you know, as I've said earlier, fewer in the Arab world that know the truth. Everyone thinks that one thinks that the Holocaust were caused by the Israelis and the Hitler. Another because we wanted to get the Germans money. Everyone thinks differently. So yes, it's a lack of education in the propaganda. It affects their brain. Yes, it's another generation. There's a lot of fake news. Every day you can find fake news. So yes, sadly.
Thank you. And at the end of your presentation, you talked about the veneration of Hitler himself. Can you discuss that in a minute or two?
What kind? I didn't understand the question.
The veneration, the adoration of Hitler. You spoke
adoration.
About. Yes.
Well, so in the Palestinian lands, there are people that called Adolf. When you are also a cruel guy, big guy, so you can have a nickname Adolf. Adolf Hitler. You can find schools that they're named the Mufti Amin al-Husseini, the Mufti which collaborated with the Nazis. Yes, a lot of people in the Arab world admire Adolf Hitler. The Arab people think that he is wise, and also he killed the Jewish. So they like this. They like the Nazi doctrine. A lot of admiration until now, sadly, in the Arab world.
That is very sad. Before we go, can you please tell our viewers where we can find some more of your work?
Well, you can find, I have my site, edycohen.com. It's also in English and also in Hebrew, EDYCOHEN.com. Also on Facebook, I have my Facebook page, and also my Twitter. You can find many of my works.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Unfortunately, we've come to the close of our webinar. Thank you again, Dr. Cohen, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Of
Bye-bye.
course. For our viewers, please join us Wednesday at 1 p.m. this week for a webinar with Alexandra Papadopoulou. Thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.